Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lepakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Monday, the 11th of July. Monsoon rains wreak havoc in India and Pakistan, thousands affected. Sri Lankan protesters throng President's house, wait for leaders' resignations. And no loan from IMF despite Pakistan dancing to its tune, says Interior Minister. And now for all the details. Heavy rainfall continued to lash parts of India and Pakistan on Monday, leading to floods in several areas, which affected thousands of people. Extreme weather in South Asia has become more frequent in recent years, and environmentalists warn that climate change could lead to even more serious disasters.
Incessant rains in the last 24 hours flooded many low-lying areas in India's western Gujarat and Maharashtra states on Monday, affecting normal life in the region. Several houses were inundated by floodwaters in Valsad district of Gujarat, where NDRF, National Disaster Response Force personnel, were deployed to rescue stranded people. The India Meteorological Department has predicted heavy to very heavy rainfall to continue during the next 5 days in the region. Daily commuters in Gujarat's Ahmedabad city waded through waterlogged roads as they tried to reach their destinations, while residents struggled to drain rainwater from their homes. Extreme weather in South Asia has become more frequent in recent years, and environmentalists warn that climate change could lead to even more serious disasters.
हम जहाँ से आ रहे हैं वहाँ से पूरे रोड पे पानी भरा हुआ है। हम अभी दिक्कत इतना हो रहा है कि हम हमारे जॉब पे जा नहीं सकते। पूरा हमारा व्हीकल जो है वो भी बंद हो गया है, उसमें भी पानी घुस गया है। आने जाने की बहुत दिक्कत हो रही है। सब हमारे से पीछे पूरे व्हीकल, कार से लेके बाइक से लेके सब बंद पड़े हुए हैं।
Meanwhile, life came to a standstill in Pakistan's biggest city, Karachi. Parts of which were also flooded, were completely inundated as the calamity once again exposed the government claims regarding its rain emergency plans. Local media reported at least 5 people also lost their lives in the port city due to rain-related incidents in the past 24 hours.
And moving on, Indian authorities resumed pilgrimage to the Hindu cave shrine of Amarnath in Jammu Kashmir territory on Monday, which was temporarily halted after at least 16 people died as a cloudburst hit the region last Friday. During the annual pilgrimage, tens of thousands of Hindus crossed glaciers and waterlogged trails to reach the cave shrine, which contains an ice stalagmite considered to be a physical manifestation of Lord Shiva. The cave is covered in snow for most of the year, but authorities let pilgrims visit for 45 days over the summers. The recent incident of natural calamity has failed to deter their spirits, devotees said. This year's pilgrimage, which began on June 30th, is taking place after a gap of 2 years due to COVID-19.
अभी 11:30 बजे तक जो मुझे सूचना थी, लगभग 7,000 के आसपास लोग चल पड़े थे यात्रा के लिए। फिर थोड़ी बारिश होने की वजह से थोड़े टाइम के लिए रोका गया था यात्रा, लेकिन बहुत उत्साह से लोग यात्रा के लिए आगे बढ़ चुके हैं। बालटाल वाले रूट से भी यात्रा शुरू नहीं हुई, जैसा कि मुझे सूचना मिली है। उस रूट को सिर्फ बाहर जाने के लिए, मतलब जो लोग दर्शन करके निकलेंगे, उसके लिए आज के लिए इस्तेमाल किया जाएगा।
And in news from Sri Lanka, leaders of the Sri Lankan protest movement on Monday said crowds would keep occupying the residences of the President and the Prime Minister in Colombo until they finally quit the office. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and cabinet ministers have said they would resign after an all-party government is formed.
Hundreds of Sri Lankans continue to throng the President's Secretariat and residence in capital Colombo on Monday, waiting for the cabinet to resign and make way for a new government after a tumultuous weekend which saw thousands of protesters storming the official residences of the Prime Minister and President. People strolled and toured the colonial-era buildings with armed soldiers and police, making no attempt to stop anyone. Leaders of the protest movement have said crowds would keep occupying the residences until they finally quit office over the worst financial crisis the country has faced in 70 years.
පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ පක්ෂවල ඒකාබද්ධතාවයෙන් යම් එකඟතාවයෙන් වැඩ කරන ව්‍යුහයක් ගැන සාකච්ඡා වෙනවා. නමුත්
අපි කියන්නේ නැවත අපිට මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ඉන්න පක්ෂ හරි ඒ නියෝජිතයන් හරි අපේ නියෝජිතයන් නෙවෙයි. ඒ නිසා මේ සර්වප ඒගොල්ලෝ ඇතුළේ කරන කුමන්ත්‍රණ වලින් හැදෙන ආණ්ඩුවකට අපි එකඟ නැහැ. අපි නිශ්චිතවම අරගල භූමියෙන් යෝජනාවක් කරලා තියෙනවා. අන්තර්කාලීන පාලනයක්.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and cabinet ministers have said they would resign after an all-party government is formed. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa said the government and its leaders no longer had the people's mandate and added he was ready to form a new government. The crisis-hit nation barely has any dollars left to import fuel, which has been severely rationed to essential services such as buses and trains, and long lines continued outside petrol station for their futile wait.
In news from Pakistan, Pakistan's Interior Minister Rana Sanaullah on Sunday said that the International Monetary Fund has not released the tranche for the $6 billion bailout package, even though it has made the country dance to its tune. He blamed that the situation would have not been such worse if correct decisions had been made by the previous government.
Pakistan's Interior Minister Rana Sanaullah on Sunday said that the IMF, International Monetary Fund, is twisting the government round its little finger and has not resumed the $6 billion loan program, even though it has made the country dance to its tune. While addressing a press conference, the minister blamed ousted Premier Imran Khan's previous PTI government pushed the country into a ditch due to its faulty policies, which have led to the dire economic situation. He said the incumbent government is forced to even accept terms which it is not in favor of, indirectly pointing to removal of fuel subsidies and subsequent price hike, which have led to a public outrage. The South Asian nation of 220 million has been facing economic turmoil with fast dwindling foreign reserves and a record depreciation of its currency. The inflation rate hit a 13-year high of 21.3% in June. Pakistan entered the 39-month IMF program in 2019, but less than half of the amount has been dispersed so far, as the country has struggled to meet agreed targets.
While moving on, a massive protest was recently held by the locals in Pakistan-administered Kashmir to express anger over frequent load shedding and demanded 400 megawatts of electricity for free. They said despite having mega dams and hydropower projects in the region, they have to face hours of load shedding.
Scores of locals recently held a massive protest and blocked roads in Pakistan-administered Kashmir against frequent load shedding in the illegally occupied region and demanded 400 megawatts of electricity for free. The protesters expressed they are having a distressing time due to the prolonged power cuts, expanding to more than 16 hours. They said despite having mega dams and hydropower projects like Neelam Jhelum hydropower plant in the region, they have to face such a situation. They lamented that electricity can be supplied to them by installing small turbines, but unfortunately, the Pakistan government is not paying any attention to it.
गवर्नमेंट चूँकि अभी तक गवर्नमेंट का कोई भी नुमाइंदा यहाँ पर लोगों को सुनने के लिए नहीं आया कि लोग क्यों इस रोड पर आए हुए हैं। और चूँकि जो इशू है इस वक्त बिजली के हवाले से तकरीबन 12 घंटे या 14 घंटे की मुसलसल लोड शेडिंग होती है जिसकी वजह से लोग इतने परेशान हैं। गर्मी है, ऊपर से इतनी गर्मी है कि और रात को बिजली नहीं होती है। सारे लोग इस लोड शेडिंग को लेकर बहुत परेशान हैं।
Locals in Pakistan-administered Kashmir accuse that Islamabad has continued to maintain an oppressive attitude and has so far ignored even their basic demands. They blame Pakistan assured them of developments and job opportunities, but it has only given them hours of load shedding, lack of drinking water, along with turning the roaring rivers into small rivulets or drains.
And a baby goat with astonishingly long ears has become a media star in Pakistan since its birth last month. Named Simba, the git goat is living a pampered existence in Karachi city, with its owner claiming a world record that may or may not exist. Have a look.
Some social media stars win their fame through their looks, others through their jokes. Simba, a baby goat in Pakistan, has won over the web with its astonishingly long ears that are 22 inches long. The tawny-coated kid goat has attracted thousands of followers on YouTube and other channels since it was born in Karachi city on June 4th. Simba's ears were 19 inches long when it was born. They have grown another 3 inches in just over a month and are showing no signs of stopping. Simba's breeder, Mohammad Hassan Nareju, has also sent Simba's details to the Guinness Book of Records and is awaiting an answer.
अभी ये 34 डेज़ का है तो इसने कोई 95 इंटरव्यूज़ दे चुका है इंटरनेशनल मीडिया एज़ वेल एज़ लोकल मीडिया ऑफ पाकिस्तान और हर न्यूज़ चैनल पे इसकी हेडलाइंस भी चली हैं, हर न्यूज़पेपर में इसकी हेडलाइंस फ्रंट पेज पे इसकी पिक्चर्स पोस्ट हुई हैं। तो मैं नहीं समझता हूँ कि कोई स्पोर्ट्समैन या कोई पॉलिटिशियन या कोई फोर्सेस का या कोई एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी एक्टर या कोई एंकर या ऐसी सेलिब्रिटी इतने जल्दी कम टाइम के अंदर इतना फेम हासिल किया जितना सिम्बा पाकिस्तानी ने फेम हासिल किया।
Nareju works in the Air Traffic Control Department of Karachi Airport, but his passion is goat breeding. He said he now plans to preserve Simba's semen for artificial insemination. Nareju has also got a special velvet harness or pouch to keep the baby goat's ears so it can run and play with ease. He feeds Simba meals 3 times a day and has taken other steps to ensure animals' well-being, including a black thread around its neck, a local belief that it wards off the evil eye.
And millions of Muslims across India, Pakistan and Nepal celebrated al-Adha with fervour on Sunday as people across South Asia have cast aside COVID fears as the pandemic situation has finally improved. Al-Adha commemorates the tale of Prophet Ibrahim's willingness to sacrifice his son as an act of obedience to the God.
Muslims in India marked Eid al-Adha festival on Sunday by taking part in mass prayers, family get-togethers and sharing of wishes after 2 years of scaled-down festivities due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Eid al-Adha, one of Islam's 2 main festivals, marks the climax of the annual Hajj pilgrimage, when Muslims slaughter goats and other livestock to commemorate the willingness of Ibrahim to sacrifice his son on God's command, often distributing meat to the poor.
आज का दिन ईद का दिन दुआ का होता है, अल्लाह से मांगने का दिन होता है। तो हम अल्लाह ताला से दुआ करते हैं कि हमारे लिए भी उसकी रहमतें हों और पूरे देश के लिए हों। पूरे देश में आजकल जो माहौल चल रहा है, नफ़रत का माहौल है, ये भी ख़त्म हो जाए, प्यार का माहौल आ जाए।
Similar scenes were witnessed in neighbouring Nepal, where hundreds of Muslims thronged the Kashmiri mosque in capital Kathmandu on Sunday morning for the mass prayer ceremony. After the completion of the recitation of the prayers, devotees exchanged greetings by hugging and wishing one another on the occasion.
फरक पाउँछ किनकि हामी कति वर्ष ग्याप गर्यो यो ईद बकरीद 2 वर्ष ग्याप गर्यो 2 वर्षपछि तेस्रो वर्षमा हामीले बकरीद पाएको त्यो हिसाबमा एकदम राम्रो छ के यो।
Meanwhile, Pakistani Muslims also performed Eid al-Adha prayers and slaughtered livestock to mark the festival. Following the slaughtering ceremony, the meat is traditionally distributed to the needy and the remainder is for the family and friends.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Monsoon rains wreak havoc in India and Pakistan, thousands affected. Sri Lankan protesters throng President's house, wait for leaders' resignations. And no loan from IMF despite Pakistan dancing to its tune, says Interior Minister. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.